Welcome to the realm of astrology. This is your daily horoscope for June 10th, 2021, which is also a new moon solar eclipse in Gemini, and we're going to talk about that in detail today. But before we begin, I want to let you know that I do daily video horoscopes, weekly video horoscopes, monthly video horoscopes, monthly sun rising sign video horoscopes, and you can watch them all on my YouTube channel or on my website called www.realmofastrology.com. And also please hit the subscribe button. Alright, so let's begin with the eclipse. Today I'm just going to talk about the eclipse because it's an important thing to discuss. And let's place the eclipse on the chart first. So it's right here. Now this is a new moon solar eclipse. First, what is a new moon? A new moon is when the sun and the moon are together, as you can see on the chart. And the sun and the moon conjunct meet up once a month, and whenever they meet up, we have a new lunar month, a new beginning. However, when there is a new moon next to the nodes, or a full moon, but in this case a new moon next to the nodes, it becomes an eclipse. So this is a new moon solar eclipse. And why are eclipses so important? First, it is a powerful new beginning. A new moon solar eclipse is a powerful new beginning. A new moon typically stays with us for 1 month. However, an eclipse energy can stay with us for at least 6 months, if not longer. So that's the first reason why eclipses are so powerful. The second reason eclipses are powerful is because they're karmic. The nodes of the moon, the north node right here and the south node right here, are karmic, which makes eclipses extremely karmic, okay? Which means eclipses bring with them fated events, destined events, new beginnings. And a new moon solar eclipse especially brings new beginnings. And these beginnings, these events, it can come out of nowhere. That's what an eclipse is. And eclipses are also important realization points. We can receive information at this point. We can have insights at this point. And the purpose of an eclipse is to put you where you're meant to be. And in that way, they are karmic. Eclipses can also speed up events. So if you've been working on something and it hasn't been manifesting and you work very hard and karmically that's due for you, then it can come about in a massive way with an eclipse. So this is a new beginning. It's a powerful new beginning. It's a karmic new beginning. It's a destined new beginning. And it's going to put you where you're meant to be. And this energy will stay with us for at least 6 months, if not longer. But my hunch is that it's going to be longer. This eclipse will stay with us for quite some time. And that's the basic of an eclipse. Now let's talk about which sign the eclipse is happening in. So the eclipse is at 19 degrees, 1947 of Gemini. And Gemini is the sign that rules communication. Gemini is all about our mind. Gemini is also about the immediate surroundings. It's about our peer group and siblings. So that's what Gemini energy is. And Gemini energy is also very stimulating. It's very intellectual. So this perhaps is a new beginning in Gemini related areas. Which is what? Which is our immediate environment, which is how we think, how we communicate, how we process things. However, it's also a new beginning in where Gemini lies in your personal chart, where the eclipse is happening in your personal chart. And you can check that out and see where that beginning is happening for you. 19 degrees 47 of Gemini to be exact. And Gemini is also the twins. Okay, so this is a new beginning in all these Gemini related areas and as well as where Gemini lies in your chart. Okay, now moving on, I'm going to discuss what aspects this eclipse is making, and then we'll sum up the energy for today, and I'll pick a card for the eclipse as well. So the first thing I want to talk about is Mercury. Mercury is retrograde, and Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. So the ruler of Gemini is retrograde when this eclipse is happening. That's one. We'll discuss all this, okay? And the second thing I want to mention is that this energy right here is in a square to Neptune. I think this is the most important aspect the eclipse is making, a square to Neptune. And in a very loose trine to Saturn. It's a 6-degree orb, so it's a loose trine, but there is a trine to Saturn happening. And Venus is in the vicinity as well. So let's break down these aspects one by one. And the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that this eclipse is conjunct Mercury retrograde. And Mercury is retrograde, which means these times can be confusing. Although there might be a beginning, it may be not very clear as to what it is. You may not be able to see exactly how things will fall into place at this time, or even what that beginning is. And this is making a square to Neptune, 90-degree angle. Now Neptune is a planet that has two sides, two very different sides. One is it is very confusing, it is very delusional, it doesn't let you see things clearly. And it's also a planet that dissolves things, it gets rid of things. And on the other hand, it is the planet of the higher realms. You can reach the highest level of spirituality with Neptune. So with a square to Neptune, this eclipse can be confusing. You may not be able to see the beginning clearly. If you receive the piece of information, it may take time to process it. And since Mercury is retrograde, all this can be connected to something in the past, something that happened in the past. This new beginning has its roots in the past because Mercury is retrograde. And think about the fact that maybe you've been working on something, building something, you have something in your life, and something connected to that might take off with this new moon solar eclipse because it goes back to the past. It's not completely new. It's not a very new thing that might come about. It's a thing from the past that may change itself, that may have a new powerful beginning. Or that may become what you want it to be. If you say, for example, you've been working on a project and it's not got the response that you wanted. Maybe with this new beginning, with this new moon eclipse, new beginning, that project takes a whole different dimension. Maybe you've been friends with somebody in the past, but this new moon solar eclipse says, hey, you can be something more than friends. I don't know what it is for you, but it could be something like that. That's what it is. It's got its roots in the past. And it can be confusing, but on the other hand, it can be extremely magical. It can be something that is so spiritually aligned with your path because Neptune is there. Yes, it's in a hard aspect, but even hard aspects can lead to positive changes. So that's what the energy is for the square to Neptune. And Mercury retrograde, I told you, is something that it's going to be connected to the past. Yeah. And with a trine to Saturn, this is a long-term thing. This eclipse, this new beginning, this new thing that's coming into your life, this piece of information, this change that's taking place is long-term. It's supporting us in our long-term goals. It's a beginning for the long run. And that's why I said I feel this eclipse will stay with us for longer than 6 months because Saturn is trining it. So that's the energy. And this eclipse is a north node eclipse. Eclipses could be with the south node or the north node. This is a north node eclipse, right? And what that means is that the north node is where we are headed. It's our goals. It's our path, right? And this is a new beginning towards our goals. And those goals have been manifesting for some time. They have been manifesting for some time. So whatever you've been working on, building, thinking about, pursuing, this might be the point where that really has a new beginning, a change of energy. And look at 1947 of Gemini in your chart and you'll know what that new beginning is for you exactly, which house it lies in. So the matters associated with that house will give you the new beginning. And yeah, this is a, to sum it up, this is a powerful new beginning that we have been working on for quite some time. We've been working in the background. And this beginning will stay with us for a long time. It's for the long run. And it ties into our goals. And it ties into our goals, and it's a portal of sorts. However, the square to Neptune may make us confused, may make us not be able to see that path, that beginning, that change very clearly. Or that beginning, that change may be so connected to your spiritual alignment, to your spiritual path, that you say, yeah, this is what it is, and I'm feeling magical about it. This is my calling. This change that's happened, it feels in alignment spiritually. So it depends what it is for you, but this is definitely an energy that's going to stay with us for a long time. Saturn is trining it. And this could also be a point where we define things in our lives. If you've been thinking about something, not being able to define it, take a decision on it, this may be the point where it comes very naturally to you. Because Saturn's in trine with this energy and Venus is close by. It's making pretty much no aspects to this except for a semi-sextile to the North Node. Let me clean up the chart. North Node is at 10 degrees. Venus is at 9 degrees, semi-sextile. That's the positive of this eclipse energy. But to me, it says blessings. To me, it does say blessings. It's positive. It's blessings coming your way. But with Neptune, there can be confusion. There can be. Yeah. So that's the energy of the eclipse. And this eclipse is happening 4 days before the Saturn-Uranus square. So we are in very intense energy right now. And Saturn-Uranus square, Saturn-Uranus, the square is going to come exact on 14th, right? So this energy of getting rid of old things, old structures, old thought patterns, old anything, and embracing the new and embracing your authentic self is very magnified with this eclipse. Okay, it's very magnified. And perhaps this is the point where we begin to really embrace our new self. Because Saturn is squaring Uranus, but it is trining this eclipse energy. It is trining the North Node. So yeah, the change, finding our authentic self, Uranus square, may feel difficult, but that process has been on this year, and we're working on finding our new authentic self. We're working on embracing new things, and that has led to a powerful new beginning, the eclipse. That is for the long run. And why I keep saying long run, there's another reason for that. It's because last year a lot of new cycles started, cycles that will stay with us for 35, 38, 20 years. And what are those cycles? I talk about it in every video, but what are those cycles? The first is the Saturn-Pluto conjunction cycle. This energy will stay with us till 2053. And we started this cycle last year. And the second one is the Saturn-Jupiter cycle. We started this last year again, December 2020. And this is a 20-year cycle. It will stay with us till 2040. So when cycles begin, it's not that everything falls into place immediately, right? There are 20 years that the cycle has to run. So the first few years are the setting up the base. It's the change. We embrace the change. We say that old cycle's done with. I have to change. I have to adjust. I have to start anew. So we are in that energy. We have been since January of 2020. We have been more so since December of 2020. And this Saturn-Uranus square, it's no surprise that it's coming in 2021. Why? Because the old needs to go. It's gone, but it needs to go more. And we need to embrace our authentic self and not the idea of who we should be. And this eclipse in Gemini will be a very powerful new beginning to that, because in the background is the Saturn-Uranus square. That's the theme of the year. That's the most important event of the year. Getting rid of old structures, thought patterns, ways of being, embracing the new and embracing your uniqueness. And this new moon solar eclipse might just help you do that. And it's going to help you build these cycles that will stay with us till 2040, till 2053. And this has something to do with twins, because Gemini is also twins. And when I say twins, I mean twin flames. So, yeah, I think this pretty much sums it up. And this eclipse can bring a lot of insights, a lot of realizations, a lot of answers from the past. It can even bring communication from the past. Because Mercury is retrograde, it is about the past right now. And this eclipse is in a loose sextile to Chiron, 60-degree angle. Something very healing about this as well. Something very healing about this eclipse as well. And that makes sense, right? If it's a new beginning, if it's something's going to change in a powerful way, connected to something you've been building on, something related to the past, something that will help us come into our authentic self, something that's for the long run, then it must have a healing aspect to it. Although, with a square to Neptune, it may not feel the best. It may be confusing. We may not be able to see very clearly. Anyway, on a new moon, it's the darkest night, right? A new moon is when the sun and the moon are together and there's no moonlight. It's the darkest night of the month. So we can't see very clearly, and that implies to what we are seeing as well. We don't know what we are beginning exactly. We can't see very clearly. And a solar eclipse is even when the sun is eclipsed. So this is a point where, although we receive insights, although we receive information, although things change and beginnings happen, we cannot see it. And with a square to Neptune, this will be definitely one of those things which will take some time to clarify itself, to reveal itself. But the beginning happens tomorrow. Today, with the eclipse. So that's pretty much it. I don't want to take more of your time, and I hope you guys find this reading useful. So that's the energy of the eclipse, and it is an eclipse that's going to bring new beginnings, as every eclipse, solar eclipse does. It's going to come out of nowhere, and that also every eclipse does. However, since this is at a time where the Saturn-Uranus square is going on, the energy can really come out of nowhere, because Uranus is unexpected, Uranus is sudden. And it will heal us in some ways as well. So, yeah, and let me also mention, eclipses are times where you should not take action. Because, and especially with this eclipse, because Neptune is squaring it. There might be some confusion. We may not be able to see things clearly. We may have some delusions. We may, or we may not. It really depends. So it's best to let the eclipse energy pass. Give it 3-4 days, sit on it, think about it, and then decide. And with Mercury retrograde, the confusion will be there, and Mercury retrograde is a time for not changing things up, for not starting new things. And Mercury will get out of retrograde June 22nd. So about 12 days from now. And that's when I think the confusion, the beginning will really start to make sense. But this is a long-term beginning. It's a very long-term beginning. And that's all I will leave you with. To hit the subscribe. Oh, sorry, card reading. Completely forgot. Okay, I'm gonna go with the next. Okay, it's again. Okay, it's too far away, so I'm gonna pick another card. Okay, we have two cards. It says to be fair, and it says never-ending story. And this to me is very appropriate. What is to be fair? You see how she's weighing out things? She's weighing out things. This is a karmic card. This speaks to me about karma, destiny. What is meant for you, what is destined for you, what is karmically destined for you, you will receive with this eclipse. And that's going to be fair, whatever it is. In a way, she's deciding what's good, what's bad. Yeah. This is a karmic eclipse. Every eclipse is karmic, but this is an even more karmic eclipse. And this eclipse, we will get what we deserve. Karmically. Yeah. Never-ending story. Now this card, what is a never-ending story? Never-ending story is a pattern that repeats itself again and again and again, right? And you see how frustrated she is? She's holding her head and saying, this is never going to end. Get me out of this. And I think this is us getting out of something that's been a never-ending story for us. Like I said, it's a powerful new beginning. A new beginning for the long run. A new beginning that will embrace change. That will embrace our authentic selves. And perhaps this is a break from the old way of living before 2020 Jan. And this is also, sometimes what happens in life is we keep working hard and we say that, oh, we want something and we pursue it and somehow it just doesn't come to us. And it's a never-ending story, right? It's a repeating cycle of I put in the work, I do everything, but I don't get the reward. So if you put in the work, this is the time you'll get the reward. And if you need to make a decision, you'll make the decision. Saturn is trining this eclipse 1. 2, this card says yes, no, yes, no. I don't know if you can see it. It's here in the center. And she's confused. So if you've been confused, Neptune squared, this eclipse will be a little confusing. However, in time after June 22nd, the confusion will begin to lift and you will decide things. You will define things. Yeah, I think that's what it is. This is an end to a never-ending story. This is a change to a never-ending story. If you've not been able to define something, take a decision, that decision will come. But I urge you to wait for some time before taking the decision, not on the eclipse day. And better if you do it after June 22nd. There's something that I need to say and I can't get myself to say it. It's not letting me close the reading for some reason. And I think it's about this. I think this is something we've been due for a long time. It's not that, okay, we work for 6 months and it's a due that's come after 6 months. No, I think this is stuff that has been due for us for a very long time. Because look at how intense this is. It's literally like, you've lived your entire life and it's the end of your life and everything's being weighed out. What did you do good? What did you do bad? I think that's what I need to say, that this thing that's coming to us has been in the works for a long time. Yeah. So that's the energy, and do hit the subscribe button. I will see you guys tomorrow for the daily, and have a great day. Bye.